Anyway, the question on Aurora Theater. There's a lot of stories going around about the theater and all this kind of stuff. We're kind of going to debunk it. We're just going to at least give our opinion of what's going on. You know, this thing about government's conspiracy and all that stuff is crap. Okay? Just put it out there. Was it Century Company? Or the Cinemark Company. They, from what we've been told, we got to visit with our friends, and we have friends who work in the theater. To the point where one gal, she was like on and on about how I was the one who taught her how to make a proper latte. And if you don't make my lattes right, so I must have trained about half of the kids in there about how to make my lattes.
She did.
And one of the managers, she was the one, if you watch the original, right after the news reels, right after the shooting, there was a little gal there. She says, "I told my employees, blah, blah, blah." She's a good friend, and she came out and she gave us a great big hug and said hello to Susie, and she was just like, oh, so sweet, you know. Everybody was happy to see us back.
And we were regulars there, so.
Pretty, to the point where they just, you know, hi, we'll get your order put together. Don't even have to ask for it. You know?
That's true.
And, but we found out that the company, not only did they help the victims and their families, you know, in the process of expenses and counseling and that kind of thing, and they tried to do everything they could to help people heal and process what all happened. And of course, you're not going to make everybody happy. You're going to have those idiots out there who want to be nasty. And of course, when you're emotional, nothing's going to make you happy. That's just all there is to it. But on top of that, we were worried about the employees because, you know, those employees are our friends. And come to find out that the company actually paid the employees for the time period that the theater was closed. Also, they had hired counseling that the employees were able to go in, walk around in the theater, try to process all that's happened with the counselor with them. And I don't know, do you remember what else they said? There was a lot.
Yeah, there was quite a bit. They primarily, they were able to, the counselors, the company really backed the people. Myself, I was worried about the employees because a lot of them are high school kids usually. Mm-hmm. And then that's their first job. And, okay, what are they going to... I need to make these payments, need help. And where they found out that Cinemark did pay them while the split theater was being renovated, that was really good of Cinemark.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they made sure that they were properly counseled, and they were given they had constant meetings about how things were coming along, and if you need to do something here, let's give you something to do, you know, that kind of thing. Inside they have it looks like a completely different theater to a point. There's only so much you can do with a building, but one thing I noticed today was when we went in, the 8 and 9 are not
in the same place.
They're not, in essence, they're not there. What they did is they put the bathrooms where those theaters were and moved the theaters out to another location. And so the doors to those theaters are in a different location too. So, you know, when you first walk in, there's the bathrooms, and then you go off to the side and there's and then one of the theaters is gone. And yeah, she told me one of the theaters is gone.
Yeah, it's no longer 16. They don't use the number anymore.
Yeah, because it's, you know, they had 16 movies, but but anyway, it's just the way that is. We got free popcorn and free soda for the last 3 days. If you've been following me, You know that I did do a little bit of recording in there. I was not putting a camera in front of people's faces. I was basically very covertly taking videos because I really didn't want notoriety or anything like that, what's going on.
And we found out that the employees are under a no media guidelines to where they can't, in the capacity of the theater itself, be on media, on television, whatever.
Yeah, they're not allowed to talk about anything on camera or anything like that. They're, the kids are sweet, and the movie was fun. The theater is clean. It's got leather seats now, big tall backs and stuff. You did end up getting kicked by a kid.
Yeah, I was.
It's like, do you mind?
And they kept up, and I looked back a few times, but I don't know. They weren't there when we got up to leave, so I don't know what happened. They may have left early.
Yeah, and then we had Susie, of course, and of course people are always curious about how you going to watch a movie with a dog, okay? Let me clear this up. We sit in the handicap section, which the seats are really far apart and it's up against a wall. And I put a blanket down on the floor where she stays. And I give her a little bowl of water. She has a Chewy. She's good, So if during the movie she feels like having a drink of water, she can get up and get it. And the noise doesn't really bother her. I think there was only one movie where she she kind of jumped. Of course, it was one of those real quiet, what's going on in the dark type of movie, and all of a sudden, kaboom, there's a big loud explosion, noises and stuff like that. And it scared pretty much everybody in the room to the point where we all thought we were going to wet our pants. Yeah, and then, and of course, Susie, dealing with emotions and stuff like that, she senses that people are afraid, and she jumps up and she's looking around like, is everything okay? She looks at the movie, realizes there's boom, boom, boom. She's like, whatever, and she goes back to bed. Or go back to sleep. So she was good. Is there anything else you can think of?
I think the theaters, the renovation was good, and there's been different changes in there, but
more of a greenish color.
Yeah, it's a little bit more subdued. Mm-hmm. Coloring is a little bit more subdued. And
the bathrooms are different.
Yeah, bathrooms actually on the men's side, at least when I was is actually a little bit smaller than what it was previous, but that's still okay.
Yeah.
But I can't get over. I guess the people, the employees there, they just, I guess they were happy to see the people coming back in and everything. They were just, can we get you something? Make sure can I take that for you? How I guess, with the employees there, how well they were wanting people to come back in, and how, probably seeing the people coming back, and where they're also now able back to work. Mm-hmm. And just getting and normally I don't see the people coming in to clean the theaters right away before everybody's out of there. So when we're usually the last ones out of the theater because of Susie and all that. But normally we don't even see them there. They were there right after the movie stopped, even while credits were still going. They're wanting to clean the theater and getting everything. Looks like they may be taking more pride back into their job.
Yeah, well, I noticed while the movie was going that an employee came in a couple of times. I also noticed, I think the customers are still on edge because, even during, I went to 2 movies now, and in both movie theaters, even though the second one was not near as full, and we didn't really have that many kids, it was still, you could still feel vibes, I guess you might say. It was still a lot of movement going on, people getting up, moving around, that kind of thing, and I think they just still a little nervous about sitting down and just enjoying the movie. And I did notice that employees were coming in and checking that everything was okay and then leave again, so it was at least we knew we were being watched during the movie. So that, kind of made me feel better, because then I didn't feel like I have to be watching the door all the time.
And I noticed one thing when we did go in, but I don't know if it's just because of the weekend, but there was a police presence. Right, when you come right in now, there's police. There were a couple officers right in the foyer area.
Yeah, I saw about 3 or 4 stationed throughout. It's like right outside the door, some inside the door, some back in the hallways. Just walking up and down the halls. So it was kind of nice to know they were there.
Yeah, and what I'd be wondering is if they're going to be that way from now on, or if it's just because of the weekend.
Well, yeah, it had a crazy weekend, but
yeah.
We'll see how it goes. They're going to be closed until Friday, and
don't know they haven't got their orders yet in for which movies they're going to get, so we don't even know what's coming yet. Well, usually it's out there now, but they're still setting everything up still. They've probably got to get back into their chain of getting the stuff in.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all works out. Basically, the attitude with it is good. One thing I was told, there was a big controversy, argument over on the internet that I've seen, is well, they shouldn't rebuild that theater. They don't, why, they're just doing it for money and all this other stuff. No. The company sent out a letter to all of Aurora. We filled out that form, okay? They even had online, in the news they would say, go to this website and fill out this form, so that we know what to do with the theater, because they didn't know what to do with it.
And according with the Aurora residents, with that survey came back, 85% of the people said reopen it. Mm-hmm. Which that gives you an indication. This theater is needed in this area.
And in that form, it also asked, opinions about, how do we want it to look? Do we want those theaters closed? Do we want to have a memorial? What do we want? That kind of thing. And if there's a memorial over there, I don't know. I didn't see it. It was one of those. But I do know that the theater rooms are not at those locations anymore. They're just, there's a different room that's there now. It has a different function. It has nothing to do with what it used to be. And so those rooms are there, and one of the rooms does not exist. And don't ask me, and don't answer if you know the answer. Which one? I know that both 9 and 8 have been moved, and one of them has been removed. So there you go.
One thing we noticed, they took the numbers off of the actual theater numbers. They're using letters now.
And they're referred to as house, not theater. They go to house 1, house 2, house 3, that kind
A, B, or C.
Right. So it's we're pretty happy with the change. I'm glad when they sent out that questionnaire, they said, what kind of changes do you want in there? Why do you want us to keep it? That kind of thing. One is just a centrally located theater. For us to, if that theater was closed, it would be, it has been for the last 6 months a hassle, because, we have to go to all these other theaters, which are quite the drive from here. And, when you have a service dog, not everybody's as responsive to it. And sometimes the theaters is not set up just right, where everybody's comfortable, including the dog. So we're pretty happy with it. And it was kind of nice when we went back. Everybody was like, "Oh, Susie's back!" They had to give her loves, that kind of thing, And please understand, I'm not in the habit of letting everybody handle my dog. This weekend I allowed it, mainly because I know the tension that was going on in there. But, the employees still, they were like, "Oh, Susie's back. Can I give her a hug? Can I say hello?" Go ahead. You know.
And with Susie and everything, it was beneficial to them too. Seeing Susie. Susie's a therapy, not therapy dog, but
She's a service dog.
She's a service dog, but with certain conditions, she knows how to act, and she will help those people too.
Right. So, anyway, I think that pretty much covers all of it. And if you have any questions, let us know. I just like to debunk a lot of the crap that you see online about Aurora. Aurora is our home. The theater is our theater. And if anybody should know what's going on, short of us actually working there, we know pretty much what's going on. So that's pretty much it. You have a good one.
Okay. Yep. Take care.